just when I had thought that I had lost hope in Alibaba, Qwen, they broke the internet again. Now, guys, I don't know if y'all have heard, but news has struck that Qwen 3.8 27B will be open weights. Now, we knew already that Qwen 3.8 Max was going to be dropping and it was going to be open, but we knew that it was going to be coming in at a 2.4 terabyte of parameters, something that even someone like me running 4 DGX Sparks would have some issues with. Hell, running 8 would be an issue at this point. You would need somewhere around 8 to 10 possibly, maybe more side on the 10 to actually make it work. You can do the math. It was going to take a lot and a lot of money to get it done, right? So with that said, we've been waiting for Qwen to actually drop some open weights on their mid-tier models, preferably 35B A3, 27B, and I believe there's also, I think someone even commented it, like, isn't there like a 110 version that dropped? When Qwen came out and dropped 3.5 back, I want to say it was like in February or so. We can look it up. It's all here. So 3.5 27B released in February of 2026. Now, 27B was not the only model though. Qwen 3.5 released a plethora of open weight models: 122B A10B, 397B A17B, both MOEs, 27B dense, 35B A3 MOE as well. And I want to say also they dropped 9B, 4B, 2B, 0.8B, a ton of models. Then we came out and they dropped 3.6. 3.6 came with 35B A3, 27B, and I did not know. Oh yeah, that was it. It's those two models. So they pretty much chopped off a ton of models there. Then they dropped 3.7 Max and Plus, no open weights whatsoever. And there was a huge pause since then. So just to get the dates correct, let's just look and see. 3.6 dropped in April. So February, March, April, May, June, July, we're in August. It's been 4 months since we've last seen it. And even to this day, the 3.6, 27B, and 35B A3 models are amazing, especially for the size that they are in, right? And what I want to do today is pretty much go over and get an idea where we will probably be sitting at with this model, but also talking about why this model is so monumental. We'll go back to the benchmarks in a few, but just to give you a quick rundown, 3.5 35B A3 was sitting at the 29 right now for the overall index, while 27B was sitting at 34, and that was for 3.5. 3.6, 29 dropped and jumped up 3 points to 32, right behind 27B, but 3.6, 27B then leaped up to 37. So as of right now today, the best open weight model running on Qwen is the 3.6 27B. We've skipped 3.7, we're going straight to 3.8, and we have 3.8's benchmarks to kind of give us an idea of how big of a model that will be, and then we can compare that model more so to what we can possibly see going on with that leap. But as you can see right here, 27B is sitting for the overall index right behind Nematron Ultra, which is a 500 parameter model. Still in line and close to something like Inkling, and still very close to also, I want to say, DeepSeek V4 Flash, the preview model, which was sitting at 41. Since then, of course, this has jumped to 50. And with the news of DeepSeek and now this is probably one of the biggest moments in local AI history. Not because of DeepSeek alone brought in history, but now 27B as well. Those things back to back, in my humble opinion, are the biggest. This makes February and April look, well, I wouldn't downplay it too much, but this kills it in my humble opinion. Why? Because 27B was already a monumental model when it first dropped. Now we're getting that push back up to something even more up to date. And this is something that you can run on a 24 gigabyte of VRAM 3090. So you have a 3090, you could pretty much run this model and have more than likely going to have something very, very high on this overall index as compute sitting at your home. And of course, if you have DGX Sparks or any type of model, MacBooks, this is going to put you in the game. And maybe you're someone that did not have enough to run DeepSeek V4 Flash, you will have something on par, maybe even better than DeepSeek V4 Flash when this actual model drops. Now, maybe why you could say that? Well, as we stated before, let's just take a look, get an idea of what we're really looking at here, right? Okay, so DeepSeek V4 Flash was at 40 when it released as a preview model. It is now dropped officially as far as 0731, which we're hearing 4.1 is coming even sooner. But it made a 10-point leap, a very huge leap for the past couple of months. So 10 points is something that could be seen. And when you look at it from a coding skills, and especially agentic, this is where 27B is very, very strong at, even then at 27 right behind Nematron. Not going to say that the benchmarks are going to always match up perfectly, but the jump from 3.6 to 3.8 is way bigger than DeepSeek V4 Flash preview to the official launch. We're talking 2 different updates since then. So this launch, this jump could be massive. Now, with that said, when we look at the actual benchmarks themselves and we see where 3.8 max is going and compare to 3.7 max, we can see a lot of big time overall jumps coming from this model. It is on par and with, for the most part, Fable 5 and Opus 4.8. It's beating Opus 4.8 on a couple of benchmarks and Fable 5 on a couple as well, but especially even GPT 5.6 Soul. It's on par with the state of the art and frontier models. That's the point here. Looking at these benchmarks overall, like, you know, it's right here on par. It's beating it here. It's on par. Some of them it's on par, almost beating it on par. So it's not saying that this is going to be a better model, but it has a lot of benchmarks that you can see where it is winning out of some of the best too, but it is also where it's just letting you know that this model is highly capable as the frontier models that we have of today. So some of these, they're beating it, some of it is matching it, some of it is coming right underneath it. It is on par with the rest of these models and basically letting us know that this 2.4 terabytes of parameters is going to put us somewhere, in my humble opinion, really close to where we're seeing Kimi at. I would think that Qwen 3.8 could sit in the 56 to 58, maybe 59, but I honestly think they're going to give it that 58 index overall. That's just my opinion where I think we're going to currently be at. Now, with that said, you have to then question where is the 27B, which is a smaller model than that, and more than likely 3.8, and a lot of these models that we're seeing drop are currently all MOE models. We're not seeing big dense models drop like that anymore. I wouldn't even think, I mean, Kimi's a dense model. I would guess at this point that Fable and Opus and 5.6 are MOE models. My bad, I think I said Kimi's a dense. Kimi's an MOE as well. And for the most part, what we're also seeing is that the percentage of parameters active are usually sitting around that, what they were saying, someone put it out there, I think it was like 3 to 5% of the overall total parameters. So, you know, with that said, we have a dense, when you're using a dense model compared to a MOE, the dense number is strong and on par compared to a MOE. And what I mean by that is when you compare 3.6 27B dense, it is stronger than 3.6 35B A3. So 35B A3 has more parameters but only activates 3, where 27B is straight up just 27 shooting out at once. Of course, with that said, also, you're going to deal with your a little bit slower overall with the speeds because it's all dense 27 firing off at once. And 27B parameters activating at once is even more than what you got running on something like DeepSeek V4 Flash, which only activates 13 parameters when you send out a prompt. So 27B will be shooting out 27, double that amount of parameters on an active overall prompt compared to DeepSeek V4 Flash. So what I'm trying to say is a dense model that has less parameters than a MOE model can still perform or outperform a MOE model that has more parameters in total. So that itself gives me the thought that this model can definitely shoot up here. Now, with that said, we don't really have much information or knowledge or anything else to go alongside with this to let us know where current dense models sit. The only dense model, when I'm honestly looking at this overall table, is I might say that Maestro. I think Maestro might be the only other one, which is 128 dense. Very big fat model, but still kind of lacking. But for the most part, all these things we're seeing for what we see open weight wise are all MOE models. So I think that this is being at 37. I would not be surprised. I mean, this is definitely going to jump up 10 points. It's got to jump up 10 points. It has to jump up 10 points, in my humble opinion. And with that said, that will put us in the 47 right above Qwen 3.7 Max. Possibly. I would not be surprised if it is above DeepSeek V4 Flash. I would not be surprised. One of the reasons why I hate to say it doesn't necessarily matter, and it can't all be just a simple correlation of the two, but what I do see is that you got Inkling right here sitting. This is a huge model. They don't have the parameters here, but I think it's like a 900 parameter model, right? The large one. This is Claude. Wait, what the heck? Here we go. 975, 41 active, huge, bigger than GLM. Then you got Inkling Small right here. Inkling Small is 266 with 12 active. Look how close these two are over on the index. And even then, look at the small. Like, it's just the Flash model is damn near on par with the big size model. We're seeing way more efficiency going on in these models now as we progress. So even then, with Flash was 40, Pro was 44, a 4-point difference of the two. So we're not seeing big jumps. And even then, you got Mimo 4.2 or 2.5, my bad, 37, Pro 42. Just a measly 5-point difference. So the big model compared to the small, we're seeing that these small models are highly capable, highly efficient to be on par with the bigger model. So what does that say for me? That says that if I see this 3.8 max being high up, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's only 5, 7, maybe 10 points behind. I just don't see it being that far behind. Let me give you another example of why, right? And once again, not everything is perfect in correlation, but I like to sometimes try to use my thoughts to go alongside with it, right? So when 35 or 3.5B dropped, look at the difference here. 35B8, hold on, right here. 3.5, 35B8, 29. 3.5, 122B, A10, 32. 3.5, 397A, 17B, 34. They're putting 3.5 27B above all those models. Above all, the big dense model is above all the MOEs. And this is all in the same family, all 3.5 except for this right here, of course. You gotta look back there. My point is, I think that 27B has a big time opportunity to really break away, and it could become, it could be up there even with your GLMs. That's as far as benchmarks go. We're just talking about benchmarks. How it will be, we'll just have to wait and see. But when you look at the numbers, of course, with artificial analysis, this is just benchmarks. Nothing is set in stone. It's going to matter about our actual testing. But when you look at the things and everything correlating, and when you look at the equations of using the math and stuff, and you can see that 3.8 is going to come in somewhere high on that, it's going to, in my opinion, be better than Grok at least. 3.8 max is, oh, well, this whole time, I did not even see this. I did not even see this. So they did put it up there. How long? This must have. I'm tripping, bro. This has probably been up here for a couple of days now. Look, I was gonna say that it has to be at least better than Grok. According to this, it's it's better than Grok and agentic work, which matters the most to me. From a coding standpoint, it's not the strongest coder. Flash is better. So the overall analysis is 53. All right. Even then, with that said, then at 53, I still can see then that 27B is gotta be better than 3.7 max. It's gotta be like right in between 46 to 50. It's gotta be in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if it matches it there. The last launch, it was 37. It's gotta make a 10-point jump, in my opinion. We saw DeepSeek V4 Flash make a jump from preview to official launch. Same family, same number, 10-point jump. You're trying to tell me that 3.8, 2 updates, it got to be more than 10. So I'm expecting this to come in at this 50. I think it's going to be a 50, man. That said, but god damn, I feel so stupid. I'm going to keep this all in the video. I got to be honest with myself. I was thinking that this was going to be a little bit higher, but damn. So they put it at 3.53. With that all said, it doesn't take away. This video is about 27B. It's not even about 3.8 max. But that said, is when you see that, these models, usually the dense one or whatever, they're not far behind. So let me know down below in the comment section where you guys think this is going to end up landing, because I'm very curious. And I'm sorry if I was rambling about this and I got it. It was sitting there the whole time. But let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. As always, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.